Lord Carlile, thank you for your time tonight. What are your initial thoughts about this dreadful incident?
Well, it is a terrible incident, but one that was predictable. It was predictable that a Mumbai-style of attack would take place at some point in the UK. Well, a Mumbai-style attack means you don't use explosive devices. They use knives, guns, ordinary weapons that can be picked up quite easily by people who really want them. And of course, this means that it's much more difficult to detect because the security services would find it impossible to scrutinize every purchase of a meat cleaver.
And you said it was predictable. Were you expecting something like this to happen at some point?
I and others have long warned that the Mumbai type attack would come to the UK and that it was likely to come from small groups of initially lone wolves attaching themselves to violent Islamism.
And will you describe these two alleged attackers like that? Are they lone wolves in your opinion?
Well, I don't know because we don't know all the evidence. We're hearing tonight that the allegations against them, and of course they're technically only allegations at the moment, have now led to the arrest of two other people for conspiracy to murder. So there is a question as to how lone the allegation is.
We also understand that these alleged attackers were on the radar of the security services. What does that mean?
Well, it may not mean anything much at all. The security services are quite small. We do not want a security service of a huge size in this country. People come onto their radar for various reasons. They prioritise it in an intelligent way.
And why would they have been on the radar? I mean, we believe that one of them, for example, had travelled abroad. And would that be the reason why they'd be on the radar?
My understanding is that one of them at least attempted to travel abroad and was intercepted whilst travelling or trying to travel. That would have put him on the radar. But it would have taken more than just that event to make them investigate him very closely. And this raises the very important point that we must ensure that the security services have the tools they need to investigate people like this.
And you spent many years looking at anti-terror laws. Do you believe that the government and the authorities don't have all the tools they need in their kit box to protect against attacks like this?
I believe that the government has tried to remove some of the tools from the control authorities, and that, for example, the communications data bill should be restored firmly onto the parliamentary agenda.
Which I know some people describe as the Snoopers Charter.
Quite wrongly.
But still, it's been given that label, that label, certainly. And of course, it was Nick Clegg, the leader of your party, who was opposed to this. Is he wrong?
He is wrong, yes, and I've told him he's wrong. In my view, in order that the security services should have a fair chance of detecting people like this in the future, it wouldn't make any difference yesterday.
Why not?
They should be able to follow the data communications, the emails, not the content, but the fact of the contact, because it enables the authorities to build up a picture of the sorts of contacts that are made by people who are intent on terrorism. It's very important.
And you believe that is more important than the infringement of civil liberties because of what happened yesterday?
Well, people who have nothing to fear have nothing to fear. The infringement of civil liberties was going to be very carefully controlled under the bill. And my belief is that this bill should now be restored to Parliament.
Is Britain a more dangerous place after yesterday?
I think Britain's a more uncomfortable place after yesterday. I don't believe it's more dangerous because these dangers existed for a very long time. I fear for community relations when, after all, 100% of Muslims, apart from one or two lunatics, are opposed to this kind of activity.
Lord Carlile, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much for your thoughts tonight.